All right, welcome to Alexploring. This is Union County. It's a winter day here in April, but we are in Magnetic Springs to start off at our first Ohio Historic Opera. So let's get right into it. Let's go. Sorry if the wind is bad. It is pretty windy out here. So this is Union County, Ohio Historical Marker number 180. 80 standing for Union County, 1 standing for the number that it is. So Magnetic Springs. Near this site in 1879, J.E. Newhouse discovered a magnetic spring in this park, Greenville Garden. It was found that a knife blade dipped in the water could pick up small metal objects like a magnet. The spring became known for its curative powers and was advertised as a treatment for ailments including rheumatism, gout, insomnia, and diseases of the kidneys, bladder, and nerves. To share the health-giving water, Mr. Newhouse opened the Magnetic Bathhouse, which became famous for its water cures. To reach a larger market, the magnetic water was sterilized and bottled and sold under the Magnetic Springs label. Advances in medicine after World War II led to the decline of the popularity of mineral baths. It's continued on to this side. Incorporated in 1883, Magnetic Springs became a resort town and was visited up to 10,000 guests in the summer months. Visitation increased upon the introduction of the interurban in 1903, known as the Columbus Magnetic Springs and Northern Railway Company, which ran to Richwood and Columbus. The amusement park, Maple Dell, offered boating, horseback and riding, golfing, and fishing. Several hotels, including the Ballard Hotel, Dr. J.F. Conrad Hotel, Encore Hotel, and Park Hotel, offering unique entertainment and furnished with bath converted into the magnetic spring, with bathhouses operated in the town's heyday. The Park Hotel was converted into the Magnetic Springs Polio Clinic, which closed after the effective polio vaccine and was developed in the 1950s. The Ohio State University and Purdue football teams stayed and trained at the park on weekends. The last of the hotels in town were destroyed by fire or razed in the 1980s. Alright, big, beautiful sky here. Let's get headed to our next marker here in Union County. Alright, we are now in Richwood, Ohio, at this older building here. It's the Richwood Opera House and Town Hall. The Richwood Opera House and Town Hall was erected in 1890 as a community center designed to house the town council chambers, fire department, jail, and opera house. The Richardsonian Romanesque style building served Richwood in all these capacities for nearly 75 years. The Opera House was the site of the minstrel shows, concert, movies, lecture courses, revivals, farmer institutes, commencements, and community meetings. The second floor gymnasium was used for a men's independent basketball league, dance classes, and a teen center after World War II. Construction of the interurban railway running between Richwood and the resort town of Magnetic Springs in 1906 provided an expanded audience for the Opera House. The Richwood Symphony Orchestra made its home here in the 1920s, 1940s. The Opera House later became the Union Theater, which closed in the 1960s, and the space was used to meet the growing needs of the municipal government. The fire department was housed here in 2001 when a news station was built. The Richwood Opera House and Town Hall is significant as a 19th century town hall that continues to function as the village's center of government in the 21st century. A restored 1903 clock sits atop the tower, being the inspiration for the Richmond Village motto, where the clock strikes hospitality. There it is. There's a placard here Richwood walking path goes to the high school, to the fairgrounds, town hall, junior high school, and civic center. We won't be walking this, but this is Richwood Opera House and Town Hall, number 380 here in Union County. Here it is extremely windy. Please bear with me the audio, but we are at 1180. This is the Greenville Treaty Line. The Treaty of Greenville created the Greenville Treaty Line. It was the boundary between lands in the original possession of the Indians and those they ceded to the United States, which were south and east of the boundary. Major General Mad Anthony Wayne negotiated the treaty with the tribes his army defeated at the Battle of Fallen Timbers on August 20th, 1794. Leaders of 12 tribes, including Wyandots, Delaware, Shawnee, Ottawas, and Miamis, signed the Treaty of Greenville on August 3rd, 1795, with General Wayne, William Henry Harrison, and other representatives of the United States. Treaties that followed Greenville up to the treaty with the Miamis in 1818 extinguished the various tribes' original claims and created Indian reservations on the lands northwest of the Greenville Treaty Line, making it obsolete. So we can see here, Greenville Treaty Line. This side, Greenville Treaty Line in Union County. Civil engineer and historian C.E. Sherman called the Greenville Treaty Line the most striking survey line in Ohio. The portion that passed through Union County began at the Tuscarawas River near Fort Lawrence in what is now northern Tuscarawas County. The line ran south and west about 153 miles near to what is now Fort Loramie in northwestern Shelby County. U.S. surveyor General Rufus Putnam hired Israel Ludlow to survey the line, and he completed the work in July and August of 1797. The Union County part of the treaty line and all of the boundary road followed the Greenville Treaty Line. It also marks the boundaries between Washington and York townships and Jackson and Claiborne townships. So we're kind of out here in the middle of nowhere, but huge solar farms went up all around this area. It's very windy. Very, very windy. So we're going to head on to our next stop. Hopefully the wind calms down a little bit and the rain stays away for as long as possible. Beautiful day here in Union County. Alright, we are here now at number 580, placed in 2008 here in Union County, the Pottersburg Bridge. The Pottersburg Bridge, sometimes called the Upper Darby Bridge, was designed and constructed by Reuben Partridge in 1868. Originally located on North Lewisburg Road spanning the Big Darby Creek, the bridge was moved to this North Lewisburg Trail location in 2006 and renovated by Union County engineer Steve A. Stolt to preserve its 1930s appearance. Its windows with awnings are not original, having been added prior to the 1930s. The steel rods were likely added in 1949. Partridge was a prolific bridge builder, having built more than 100 bridges in Union and surrounding counties. Most of his bridges were built with wood and covered, but a few were constructed with iron. And it's the same on both sides. So let's go take a look at this bridge. So here it is, the Pottersburg Bridge. It's on this cool walking trail, dedicated in 2022. All right, let's head to our next Ohio historical marker. All right, here's our next Ohio historical marker. It's a Spain Creek covered bridge, which is still a functioning bridge, one lane bridge here. This is number 980. The Spain Creek covered bridge was designed and constructed by Reuben Partridge in the 1870s, same as the last bridge. Partridge began his bridge building career in 1866 at the length of 64 feet. The bridge is the smallest of Union County's historic covered bridges. Spain Creek flows under the bridge to its nearby confluence with Big Darby Creek. The Spain Creek Bridge is one of 5 remaining covered bridges designed and built by Partridge. 4 of them are in Union County, while 1 is in Franklin County. The windows and awnings are not original, having been added prior to the 1930s. The bridge was rehabilitated in 1988 by constructing a bridge inside the covered bridge. The large wood girders and wood floor panels carry today's traffic load. The old wood trusses currently carry only their own weight, as well as the weight of the roof and siding. 1883 this was built. And it's the same on both sides. So let's get a photo and head back to our next Ohio historical marker. All right, next up, definitely one of our tallest Ohio historical markers here in Union County. This is number 1580, placed here in 2012. War of 1812 Blockhouse. Following the American surrender of Fort Detroit in August 1812, panic spread along the Ohio frontier in fear of possible Indian attacks. The boundary of the Indian Territory lay approximately 14 miles north at the Greenville Treaty Line. Ohio Governor Return Jonathan Meigs Jr. called out the Ohio militia to defend the frontier and to construct blockhouses to guard against Indian attacks. A local militia company of 70 men were raised in present Union and Madison counties to protect the settlements along the Big Darby Creek. David Watson served as captain with Frederick Lloyd as first lieutenant. Captain Watson's company marched north and began construction of a blockhouse on the west bank of Mill Creek near the old Indian Trail. The group built a 2-story hewn log blockhouse approximately 15 feet by 24 feet with 4-inch gun ports along the sides. They garrisoned the structure for about 2 weeks until persuaded by Jonathan Alder, a former Indian captive, to abandon the pursuit. Alder believed the Indians would bypass the blockhouse and descend upon the settlements. No Indian raids occurred, and calm returned to the frontier settlements, especially after American victories at Fort Meigs and Fort Stevenson in July 1813 and the Battle of the Thames in October 1813. So we are here. This is a reservoir. Let's go and take a look at it real quick before we head to our next Ohio historical marker. This is an above ground reservoir, so this wasn't built down into, it's built up to hold water. So let's go see it. All right, we're at our next Ohio historical marker here at American Legion Post 79 for number 2280, American Legion Memorial Park. American Legion Union Post number 79 was organized on August 21st, 1919 at the National Guard Armory in Marysville. In 1927, the Legion purchased a 24-acre parcel known as Clement Woods to serve as a living memorial to Union County veterans of all wars. The park was dedicated on August 24th, 1927 and renamed American Legion Memorial Park. The brick memorial building was constructed from 1937 to 1938 by the Works Progress Administration, WPA. The Post held their first meeting there on September 12, 1938. In addition to the memorial building was completed in 1960. In 1989, the Legion donated the park to the city of Marysville on a condition that it remains a free public park. All right, on to our next one.